What's up everyone, my name is CB Merciless and welcome to a brand new video regarding the new Crash game. Today I thought I'd make a video on what we know about so far regarding the new game to sort of build up hype for the game's reveal, which I think could be very soon. To kick things off, let's go back to August 22nd, 2019, the Toys for Bob slip up. On August 22nd, Toys for Bob released a post on Twitter with pictures of them doing a backpack drive for kids. You're probably thinking to yourself, okay, what does this have to do with Crash? Well, in the first image they initially released, the image contained unseen Crash Bandicoot concept art. After people began to point it out in the comments, Toys for Bob quickly cropped the picture and reposted it. Let's go over on what these images tell us about the new game. The first thing I'm going to point out is the first thing I noticed when seeing this image: the Entropy redesign. Entropy is getting a slight redesign. The clock on his chest is now a circle instead of being a square like in the Insane Trilogy. The armor on his left hand is a lot bigger, almost like if he had some sort of cannon attached to it now. There was also concept art for Engine, but he really doesn't look like he's changed. As for Cortex, we can't see much of him, but from what I can tell, he still looks to be the same. Not only did Entropy get a redesign, but Dingodile also got a redesign, and it reminds me a lot of his Twinsanity design. At the very top, we can see a character which seems to be Brio's mutated form, and directly above it seems to be some sort of spring type character. These could be different mutated forms Brio turns into in a boss fight, or perhaps it could be a new villain being introduced. The last character we are able to get a glimpse at looks to be an unfamiliar character in the Crash Bandicoot franchise, but I could be wrong. This perhaps might be a brand new character that is being introduced to us in the new Crash game. I can't really describe any of this character's features other than this dude's got some skinny ass legs. Enough of the characters, we also have a glimpse of some levels in the back as well. I was able to get a good glance of two levels. The one on screen now looks to be some sort of jungle level, and the other looks to be a volcano erupting. I personally am not able to get a good glance at the rest of the levels in the back, but if you guys see anything familiar or perhaps something interesting, let me know in the comments below. We're now going to be switching from the Toys for Bob slip up to the viewer Anon and Sabi leaks. On November 19, 2019, a known leaker in the gaming community known as Sabi released information he received regarding a new Crash game with the following. Heard from a good Acti connection that Activision does have a new Crash game coming, and no, not specifically that 4chan leak that included worlds. Can't deconfirm worlds, just know that's not what I'm talking about. Vicarious seems to be it, but can't be 100% on that part. An hour later, a leaker in the movie industry, viewer Anon, released information on Twitter stating that a new Crash game is on the way. He states the following. Scooping a different industry, not only is a new Crash Bandicoot game coming, I've heard from someone I trust that the whole thing revolves around masks with special abilities and that there will be levels where you play as Cortex. Cortex levels. Word is, they tell the full story of Crash levels. So if something blows up to block Crash's progress, the challenge will be you as Cortex setting off that explosion. Remember that volcano level concept art we discussed earlier? Perhaps we get to play as Cortex and somehow, some way set off that volcano to block Crash's progress. Perhaps. Yes. No. Maybe. Okay, just had some things clarified for me. You can play as Crash or Coco. The gameplay is Naughty Dog-like, no open world, and the progression system was described as like Super Mario Bros. 3D World. Themed worlds with individual levels in each. Although the game is said to be Naughty Dog-like, it also said that the game would play similar to 3D World. 3D World wasn't too linear, and it did have some side-scrolling in it, so I think we will have a bit of wiggle room in the new game, instead of it being a full-on linear experience. Since we're on the topic of leaks, it's time to bring up the gaming revolution. Now, remember how he stated that it was going to be a Wrath of Cortex remaster? He ended up deconfirming it a couple days later and stated, I think I jumped the gun on the Wrath of Cortex remaster, and it may actually be a new Crash 4 installment. The new Crash game will be a Crash 4 installment and not Crash 8. Perhaps they don't want to continue the story after Mind Over Mutant, but instead make a true Crash 4 game. I really do think the Gaming Revolution statement on the game being a Crash 4 installment is true, because earlier today, Modern Warfare 2 Remastered was leaked in the game files from Modern Warfare. Remember the tweet where he leaked a Wrath of Cortex remaster, which he then corrected and stated that it's a Crash 4 installment? In that tweet, he also stated that a Modern Warfare 2 remaster was coming, and it's now leaked, in the Modern Warfare files. To be quite honest with you, I do believe the new Crash game we are getting will be a true Crash 4 that we deserve. Due to all the negative reception Titans and Mind Over Mutant received from the fan base, I can see why they won't make a sequel to Mind Over Mutant, but instead start fresh on a new Crash 4 instead. That's going to be it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. Please consider hitting the like button and subscribing if you feel like it, and I'm out.